I'm telling you, man.
Hey fam, welcome back to yet another amazing episode of I'm Telling You.
I'm telling you.
Oh, Bing Crosby, I appreciate you sometimes. It is so amazing what you do to me. But yeah, I'm Philly D.
Mr. Gemini.
Clickety clack, a fact check of missjd.
Yeah, and as always, fam, we like to start the program by saying, please reach out to us, hit us up. Yeah, we want you to continue that conversation. Tell us what's up, what you're liking, what you want more of, how to interact with us. I mean, all that kind of good, fun stuff. But you can get us. Now we have our new spots because we got itystudios.com is functional, so we can get all three of us. That's the humans. That's THEHUMANS at itystudios.com. Or you can get us individually.
GEMINI at itystudios.com.
Nice.
Bleep.
Or me, Philly D, PHILLYD at itystudios.com. And Miss JD, don't you have one as well?
I do. It's MISSJD at itystudios.com.
That is a beautiful thing. Yeah, and we have to, we got to do our little spiel because we do have our sponsor, Round Guys Brewing. They are a awesome community-minded business. They make spirits that were not spirits. They make seltzers, sodas, beers. But the bigger thing is they are definitely a part of the community.
They are good spirits.
They are good spirits. They absolutely are. It is a family-style owned business. It is community-minded. There's amazing people there. It is all about supporting their people and doing great stuff. I mean, I love that they do stuff with music. They do stuff with puppies, and I mean, just anything and everything they can pretty much get their hands on. For
this has got cherry and honey in it.
It does, which is a rarity, but they do have it. But yeah, if you go to roundguysbrewery.com, you can see they have inventory. Again, they have sodas, they have seltzers. They do make beer, but yeah, they do all sorts of great stuff, as well as check them out because again, they do great community stuff. So that's always a great thing. But for first time listeners, this is a friendship of 30 plus years between me and Mr. Gemini doing our thing, being goofballs, dads. Even when we were kids, we still had corny dad jokes, but we also do movie quotes and all sorts of other fun stuff.
I learned it by watching him.
Yeah, but yeah, your dad is hilarious. I do love that guy. He's a good man. But yeah, as well as sometimes we also get guests, which tonight, Miss Cali, if you could please introduce yourself, tell the people where to find you, all that good stuff.
Hey guys, I'm Tiana Jones, also known as Cali Faye, and you can find me on Facebook under Cali Faye, CALI space FAE. Also Instagram, Cali Faye Verified, so it's Cali.Faye Verified, and also LinkedIn under Tiana Jones. Also Cali Girl Books LLC, and you can find me on Twitter at Cali Girl Faye.
That is a lot to remember. See, this is the thing that kind of gets me with all the different platforms and stuff is if somebody beat you to the punch, now you have to either add like an underscore or a number, or like you have to put like official, or you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. And I mean, people buy up like domains on the for the internet, like the different .coms and .nets, just so they can steal your stuff before you even get to it. Just so when you get there, they're just like, oh, that's already taken. You're like, oh, great. Now you gotta.
How many actors have a fan site that has nothing to do with them at all?
Oh my God.
That's just disturbing.
Yeah, well, because I mean, we've had quite a few of different actors on, and one of the big things is you only get one person with that name. So we had a guy on, his name is Dave Schechter, but if you look up his actual name, which is David Schechter, that's not him. That's a totally different person. So, I mean, that's the thing is like, you have to not only be able to differentiate yourself, but you legit have to be unique in that. And, now you have to beat people to the punch before they get to it.
Michael A. Fox was already an actor.
I trademarked the name Cali Faye, so I'm not worried about it.
Nice. I mean, did you any logos and stuff as well, or just the name in and of itself? Or I mean,
so just the name, and then the All Lives Do Exist and Women's Lives Do Exist, Global Peace Movements, they're trademarked as well with logos. And then Cali Girl Books LLC is trademarked with the logo because it comes in the package when you create a business, the package I went through.
Nice. Oh, dude, and you know what? Honestly, things have been becoming like way more like available in that kind of a capacity where it really is easier to just go ahead and start a business, which I think is great because, I mean, you know, we were talking earlier in the green room and stuff about owning yourself, like being held accountable and all that kind of stuff. I found, me personally, the more I've done that, the more I've found that it's like, well, I can just go do this myself. Like, why do I have to get, you know, air quotes, a job? Like, why can't I just go make myself a job? It's like, dude, yeah, you can go do that. It is that easy. Yes, it is. And just be cautious, because there are people out there that are looking for a come up. So you want to, if you have a great idea, keep it to yourself, work in silence, and then come out with that when you're legalized and you're ready to share that information. Dude, and you know what? And that's another thing that...
Get your patent first.
Well, but dude, it's because that's how the world is nowadays. And I mean, I feel it's a little on the sad side that we can't live in a society where you can just be like, oh, this is what we're doing, and everybody respects it. No, dude, there are so many people that are legit just looking, waiting, like creeping to just pounce on you and take any and all ideas that you have. Like, dude, it's so hard. It's a horrible thing. I mean... Because especially the way I look at it is, to me, humanity as a gift in and of itself is a beautiful thing. Like, we're supposed to be positive, loving, light, all that good stuff. And it's like,
Nikola Tesla never felt like he had to own his thoughts.
I know, right?
He shared them for free.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
For free. And that's why people hated him.
The business people didn't like him because his ideas weren't marketable.
Hated him.
He was giving out free information that you can't make money off of.
This smart guy. Where's he getting all this information?
That sounds like Tupac now. He's gone now. And, you go on Instagram and they're streaming all of his poetic words, how he was trying to help humanity. They don't show that side of him. Of course, it was, the gangster, the outlaw, the person that was,
dear mama.
Society. Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the day and age that we live in with social media, unfortunately, I mean, like, it really does, it not only allows for, but promotes taking people's things and, their ideas and their beliefs and their thoughts and their statements and doing whatever you want with it. And people will basically believe it. And, you're just so inundated with the running joke of that was so 23 seconds ago. But because there's constantly new data over and over and over again, you're prone to just take that quick tidbit of information, store it as positive, correct knowledge, and move along. And all you're doing is just continuously cataloging false information. I mean, what is that going to do for an entire populace? Well, check this out. You see on Instagram too, and other social media sites where people are going on there and they're repeating proverbs and different, they're expressing, in a sense, they don't have good intentions, but they're using the word of God to grab the following, grab people to gravitate to them. Now, here's the thing. There's a reverse with that, because then it's giving people honestly hope, and it's still coming out from a negative into a positive. So it's really like one of those things where
you're saying leveraging that as a means to gain a financial
or following. I mean, sometimes it's not financial. It's just to get people to follow you and like you. And nowadays it's about fame. I mean, people aren't always about the money. It's one or the other. Well, because I
want people to like themselves.
Dude, I know. Dude, I want people to love themselves.
Don't worry about liking me or
right. But
anything we're on about. But
that's really kind of the perception or whatever. Because it was either fame or money, which was the believed thought of power. It allows for this, that, and the other. Because I have the ability to persuade or push my weight around, but it really can also be more of a like emotional kind of connection where what makes them feel good. And it doesn't really matter what it is. If what they're doing is for something that is only beneficial to some or a few or even just one, that's the wrong choice. Like that's you. But you have to have those people that make those choices to show you that. You need to have that difference in order to know what it is. Which, you know, I think while that's the dichotomy of man having the good versus evil, without one or the other, that you wouldn't know what it is to be in between, or to be the flow or the peace or the, you know. And I think that's something that a lot of us should really be trying to work towards. But most of us are just like, you know, either screw it, I'm going to be bad, or you have the other side where it's just like, there's too much bad, I only want good. We have to balance it out. And it's like, I think we need to lead by the example of having that balance, you know, where things aren't good or bad, they just are.
That's an interesting theory as well. I mean, you have to understand that the world needs both in order to know righteousness. So for everyone listening, I think that the main ideal here is to not waste half of your life doing bad, or waste your mental space, you know, holding negative energy, when the whole time, if someone would have just showed you the existence of the light, you can choose that path, which is what? Positive energy. I mean, nobody wants to be miserable. I definitely don't want to be in company of misery, or feeling that I'm going through so many traumatic things. Again, we need to forgive and go through healing. So I believe that as long as you know that it even exists, that light power, that force of mobility, you can get into gear. I believe that. Don't waste your time.
And also, if you think about your negative energy, it's like, it doesn't just affect you, it affects all that around you too. And like attracts like. So you want to try and balance it out with the opposite. So if you're having a negative day, like swap something and do something that's, you know, brings you joy, to kind of like bring it back up and level it out.
Or just
and
do something out of the ordinary.
Yeah, well, yeah, or something that you know is just definitely going to bring you joy and fill your tank and like fill your cup. But also, like, think of the negativity as how it affects everybody else, but think of it as like a spider web. When you walk through it, it's like sticky and it's like all over you and it's hard to get off. So you kind of just got to figure out how to reprogram and get out of it.
That's some good imagery there, actually. Getting stuck up in it. But, you know, that's what the game here is all about, though. I mean, it's about losing ourselves in this program, really. But if we could do it in such a way that we're not causing harm to others, and maybe, you know, and I was just thinking about this on the ride over here, just the thing I was listening to and whatever. But like you can have an emotional response to something without reacting to that response. Like, you can have it and let it pass through you and just recognize it for what it is. Or you can allow it to amp you up. You know what I mean? Which,
responding versus reacting.
Which is say amped up, which is actually taking you into a lower vibration. You know, you say amped up, but you think up, like anxious. What, you know, it's actually reducing your natural harmonic state, which I agree with you. I think in general is, you know, peace and giving, and, you know, but I think the problem is not everybody is starting from a position where they feel like they're starting with something that they can give. I think there's a lot of people out there that are starting from a position where they, whether it is actual or not, that they feel like they're starting from a place of need. And I think that's where a lot of the world's problems come from too, is whether there is a life-threatening need that's not being met. You know, those are the people, like, those are the ones that are hard to love. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the challenge I need to look at in life, is like, it's easy to love people that are easygoing, but is it so easy to love the people that they take it out on you and just stop for a moment and go, this has nothing to do with me? You know, like, how many times in my life things could have turned out completely different had I just taken that stance? Like, this has absolutely nothing to do with it, which was one of the 4 agreements, actually. You
take nothing personal.
Take nothing personal. Like, whether it's good or bad, just kind of just like the emotions, take it in, understand it for what it is, and just kind of let it pass.
Yeah, see it impeccably. It doesn't have a good or a bad. It just is. Okay, well, I know what it is now. I can deal with it. When you put a connotation, it can either incite fear or happiness, or you're automatically putting a idea behind it. And it's like you're now not perceiving it for what it is.
Naming something takes its power away. It actually makes it smaller because you can see.
Oh, I know what it is now.
Yeah, you can see it enough and understand it. It's the things we don't know and fully understand that scare the crap out of us.
Of course. Well, that's what they say. You're never afraid of being alone in the dark. Think about that. You're not afraid that you're alone when you're in the dark. That's why you're not afraid of the dark.
Alone that you're afraid of. That's I see what you're saying.
I'm afraid of falling on my face in the dark.
It doesn't need to be dark.
I can't see where I'm going.
Stepping on a single Lego, like the 1x1, the little one.
But that to me is a perfect understanding. Like, cause I mean, like what you were saying earlier about the whole light and everything like that is you can be perceiving everything as being in the dark. You can always sit there and say, this is what I don't have. When you start to look at what you do have, to me, that's embracing the positivity or the light. So it could be the darkest room ever, but when you focus on, I'm going to get out of here, I'm going to do this, when you focus on what you do have, you kind of start to really just be a part of that belief system, which I think is a beautiful thing, because then anything is accomplishable. I mean,
and the realization that you don't have to perpetuate the negative because it really doesn't do anybody any good.
It usually does not.
But it's a common assumption that, if somebody strikes you, you need to strike them back. Well, do you?
Well, I would say you do, because you have to learn the lesson of,
Sometimes words can be more painful.
Well, right. But to me, that's the thing, is you have to experience both of those. You have to know what the negative is in order to know what the positive is. So yeah, you have to be a schmuck or something and make some bad choices where you look like a really bad person. But when you find yourself being accountable for it, and when you have conversations about it, and when you grow from it, then those little negative things where you were like, oh, did I have to do that? Well, you did, because now you learned that specific lesson and it brought you to a better understanding of things. So yeah, you had to do that.
It wasn't a way not to make a light bulb.
Exactly. Yes, that is correct.
Or it was a way not to make, yes.
That's why I love that expression, though. But
yes,
but yeah, no. When we were in the green room, we were starting to talk like some crazy stuff, because we started getting to like ancient artifacts, and one of the big things,
architecture,
because you started bringing up the whole thing about pyramids and stuff, and it's like the fact is that all of these different styles have a very similar, construction idea or theme behind it, as well as they all seem to be relatively linked, because there's a line around the Earth where most of the
ley line.
Yeah, the ley line, where these things line up. And I mean, Tesla was talking about this stuff. And so it's like...
It's because Thoth traveled the earth and spread the same... He's the one that designed...
energies.
He's the one that designed the original.
And they were used as channels.
Got to read the Emerald tablets, bro. It's so awesome.
I have it right there.
Wait, it's up there? It's floating?
It's sitting on my desk on the other side.
Oh, I thought you were pointing up.
You see, that's the problem with having those books behind her. You can't trust her with those books. You don't know what she's doing.
She's levitating all of them.
But yeah, no. So I mean, going back to the whole pyramid things. I mean, so like, how much research have you done on that kind of stuff? Because I mean, you said you yourself, you don't really do a ton of research. You kind of more just like flow with your heart and go with what feels right, which I get. Because I mean, to us, when we do our research, we believe things that seem to be more on that impeccable side, where it's showing evidence or information, and it's not like it doesn't paint it in one light or the other. It's just like I don't know what to say, but here's the information. So I mean, have you done research yourself on any of this, or I mean?
No, actually I haven't. So I can visualize. I have visions. I have different giftings to where I feel connected to everything around me and outside of where I'm at. And I can also see what we're talking about in a different tunnel wave of understanding. So it's energy waves, as someone said in the last, our last talk. Alpha energy waves. That is true. So I have those abilities to where, it's an advancement of technology, which is us, which is the human body is an advancement, which is what my book, Woke All Advanced Technology, is. It explains these advancements of new discoveries of what have already existed of the past, present, and future, which in religion is called the Holy Spirit as far as in Christianity. So, when I told you everything is connected, it's all connected based on the light mass of purpose of the overall mission, which is what? Saving humanity. Because we are all human beings. And yes, we're spiritual beings, as in still anatomy human beings that are evolving with evolution. But we're also in this time that has been repetitive over the last hundreds and thousands of years of survival. And survival means that we can become extinct based on our aggressions, our greed, our lust, and the Cain's curse, which is also relevant of history of religion. So it's the emotions of selfishness, which can take over. That's dark matter that can take over your light mass that's inside of your human body. And that's in your neural paths and your neurology, but also your physical anatomy of your human body. So, when you're connecting all these elements, which is more scientific theory development, you're thinking of basically putting yourself into the highest realm of your own existence. And when you're doing that, you're able to give the information as translating it, but you're also able to document it and discover new impeccable emotions of desire. So your desire could be knowledge. There's knowledge seekers. There's people like that, you yourselves, that are seekers of knowledge. It's interesting. That's why we're doing a part 2, because in part 1, we were, getting into this discussion based on what each other may have known with history and also present ability. So by us all being gifted and having that consciousness and higher space for ability and giftings, we're able to tap into our true self. And that can be a transmitter to transmit information from the universe into our bodies, because everything is connected. We're all connected as we're particles floating in space, but we're still standing here on this earth. So being that being, we're able to learn faster than 100 years ago of the human beings that were learning then. Maybe there's an Einstein person out there that is more advanced into technology, and it could be a woman. You never know. But the advancements is not to show any type of inequality in, if it's a man or if it's a woman. And that's where we're at in history and social society, is accepting the unknown, accepting the fact that it can be whoever, that person that they're looking for, that person can be whoever, based on the fact that they don't know if it's a 10-year-old kid or if it's a woman or if it's a 80-year-old man, that has that existence of power within them. But the key here is not to stare at that, focus on the power, because that's, again, based on greed and based on selfishness. Because if that's all you're focused on, that's what got us in this mess in the first place, with people annihilators and people that are trying to blow up the world, which is talked about in my movie Through the Eyes of God and Humanity documentary, where John Blythe Barrymore is speaking about that stuff and speaking about 9/11 and things like that. So we want to basically now bring peace, because you hear a lot of people in the United States saying, I'm ready for the war. I'm ready for the war. I got my guns, especially in that village where you live. But the thing about it,
not a
the
joke.
thing about it,
yeah, you're correct.
the thing about it is this is the concept of reverse that I'm trying to get people to understand. Let's think about it differently, because everything is okay, if they're thinking that way, we can bring peace. Now people say, well, why should we bring peace? That's boring. That's there's no balance with that. There is a balance with that, because by bringing peace, you're bringing health to yourself, to live longer, to feed your spirit that energy, that physical touch, that emotional conception, that inheritance of, what you should have gotten in infancy, and that's why I feel like we have to show them that they can still do what they want to do by living longer. Because you hear a lot of people, they thought, during COVID, the world was going to end and, everything was going to end and all that. And they were always focused on negativity and death and disease. But that's the devil. That's that negative dark matter coming in and polluting the mindsets of the people, telling the people that, basically it's their time to die, when we don't have control over that. We're not sitting on a button to blow up the world right now, and as they say that exists, and you hear different people state.
With all that stuff you're saying though, like your biggest enemy is fear.
Exactly.
You can't live your life like that. Fear, that's what drove me nuts about the whole lockdown and everything. It's like you're putting entire nations across the world in like a constant state of fear, like a fight or flight. And you can't stay there for very long without it being very unhealthy. So that alone could be throwing numbers off and all kinds of stuff. There was an emotional war going on,
spiritual war. I'm going to keep it real with you. There's a spiritual war going on that some are not able to see because they haven't been educated and they haven't been able to tap into who am I? You have children out there that are still developing. Their brains are this big. They haven't developed who they are. They're still learning. Like he said, you have to go through the good and the bad. But what if you could give them shortcuts? What if you could enhance their abilities in those spiritual books that she has behind her, or the book Woke All Advanced Technology? You put this advanced technology all into one to show the proof. Now, in my book, Woke All Advanced Technology, I will tell you there is a lot of stuff in there. There's stuff that is new discoveries of, when I was going through my spiritual awakening during the COVID, and I was able to connect to a different type of understanding and translate and be a transmitter to speak different languages that had nothing to do with my ethnicities. And as it is a natural ability that I've adapted and I've gotten used to, don't be shocked and surprised when you open up that book that it still takes you back to Christianity. It still takes you back to the light mass of understanding of a God existing, of the creator. And what I have felt during that time with dates and times and recordings was a very hard time in my life, because I went from ego. So then we talk about ego in this part. I went from having an ego, which was a pollution of dark matter, dark mass, negative energy. And so when I had this ego for so many years, as I was brought up not to know what it was, because you think it's encouragement, good job, there's a pat on your back, but there's a difference between being encouraged and self-medicating yourself with ego. So I had to learn now that
this dopamine chasers. You're looking for that.
Now that I'm older, during that time, I was balanced. I was going through a balance of illness. I was sick for 7 years. Doctors didn't know what was wrong with me. I was throwing up. I was using the bathroom. I was filling people's energies. And I actually used to drink alcohol for 10 years. And I went through a process where they say God was gutting you like a fish and cleaning you up and preparing you for what was next. Because some people say you have to go through those lessons in order to develop who you are supposed to be or how you're supposed to live your life. And I had no clue that I was gifted at all. I was lied to my whole life, and no one told me anything when I was always dropping those, information to family members and friends and stuff like that. Nobody that was the elders was educating me to say, you're gifted. You should be in this gifted program, or you should, do this or do that. I was just told you can do anything you put your mind to. Well, that's a little vague, because you're not giving the person enough encouragement without ego, because you're not giving enough information, and I've learned that the elder people are very selfish. Most of them are, if they're not mentors, they're not educators in the right path, they may be doing it for the wrong reasons, holding back the youth from knowing anything for real. Because if they would have known that, they would have done better, because you gave them the option to know the bad, the ugly, and the good. And that's where I was raised, where I saw a lot of bad, didn't know a lot of good, wasn't raised in a Christian household, wasn't raised knowing about God. There was my father was a Muslim who was reformed from prison. So he wasn't giving, that light to me. He wasn't educating me on what existed in the world beside what bad existed in the world, and what, he felt that I shouldn't do. As a father and a daughter, you want them to live a good life. But at this point, now that I have awakened fully, and I'm 32 years old and went through my whole awakening at 30 years old, there's no going back with the consciousness. That's where I talk about in the first interview. I can't go backwards, and everything I know now, being awakened, woke, whatever you want to call it, I can't go back now, because I'm accountable, because I don't want that bad karma. I don't want to live in chaos, and I don't want to be over there and over here, and I don't want to be around that. I want positive energy and good people around me, because I want to live my healthy, best life. I don't want to be around people that can't accept my giftings and me, because it's not my job to push that on them. It's just my job to tell them what God tells me to tell them and walk away. And that's what I've, developed through that awakening time. I'll tell you what God told me to tell you. I used to go up to people all over the United States, drive through the United States. God told me to tell you. And I would walk up to strangers. Imagine someone at a gas station walking up to you, doesn't know you, wearing sunglasses, no makeup, got their hair pinned back. They don't know you. You don't know them. God has a message for you. I did that, and I planted seeds all over the United States. God told me to tell them. I would tell them what God told me to tell them. It would be accurate, and I would walk away. Even if they were selfish and said, you're not right, they just don't want to accept that might not be a positive thing that they are emotionally feeling, connecting. That's their demons struggling with them inside of them, saying, don't listen to her. Don't listen to that. This person, no, because at the end of the day, I had to learn not everyone can be saved, and you can't tell everyone a message. Some people you got to live their lesson. Let them sit in what I would say, sit in their shit, because if you're just telling them, how are they ever going to grow to learn to get out of their distress and their trauma? Sometimes I look at it like, okay, you want to go ahead and go. But I guarantee you, I know what's going to happen to you when you go, because I already know things, and I know what's waiting for you. I mean, it is what it is. You can't control what other people do, but you can give them that message, and you can politely do it. I used to do it in a more ruthless way. I mean, there's always, with the light, there's always a ruthless side to it as well. I mean, Jesus was ruthless. He wasn't always, here's butterflies and here's flowers. It wasn't like that. So with me, I'm the same way. It's either real or fake. The energy, I can feel your energy. I can feel everyone's energy. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter. And I know what your intentions are. And I know if you have 5 million thoughts a day, I'm hearing the good and I'm hearing the bad. And I don't really know if I want to be around you at that time of the day, because I'm going to ask you, are you okay? Are you all right? Is everything okay with you? And people get upset with me and they're thinking, well, I'm fine. Why are you asking me if I'm okay? Because I love you, because I'm genuine. I love you. I want to know if you're okay. But they don't know why I'm asking them that. You know why? Because they don't know that I can, check on their thoughts throughout the day.
Well, but
it is what it is.
But I think it's also a little bit more that, especially with today, most people, if they ask you how you're doing, there's usually an ulterior motive. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter really what they're asking you. Usually when somebody asks you something, they're coming from their own little perspective or spot where, like you've been saying, is selfish. Like there was several times when you were talking and the word selfish kept popping up in my head, and 30 seconds later, it's like, bing, and I was just like, dude, that's exactly what that is. And you said fear, but I think all of those really do wrap up together because
selfishness all comes from fear. Everything comes from fear.
And just like she was saying is, when you
allow
these or do this, then you get those little extra thoughts in the back. You're just like, don't listen to them.
Because if you're coming from a place of wholeness, if you're coming from a place where you really truly care about yourself, everything is going to seem like sunshine and roses. Even if it's raining out.
Because there's lessons to be learned. There's opportunities. So, like you said, I don't have problems. I have opportunities.
I mean, my brain already knows how to make DMT, so I'm just happy.
Dude, everything does apparently. but that's
that alone, knowing that the difference between me being happy and me not being happy is choice.
It's literally that. Well, that's why I always say the biggest thing is when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror for that first time that day, you have two choices. You can either look at yourself and say, I'm going to hate today, or you look at yourself and say, I'm going to love today. You literally get that choice. And, first thing I do before I leave the house is I check the mirror and I look at myself, and I don't care if I'm feeling it or not. I just go, bro, I love you. You're dope. Have an awesome day. And it's just like, yes, let's go do this. And
I don't look in the mirror. I just roll the dice day to day.
Such a wildcat, JD. Oh my goodness.
Hey, gotta take it as it comes, right?
Well, and I think there's a lot to be said for that as well, as part of being a part of the flow. But to me, that is if you have the truest intentions with yourself and you're having that best connection with yourself, then the likelihood is you're going to be in that flow where the choices you're making, where, like you were saying, you walk up to a complete stranger and just be like, so yeah, you need to hear this right now, whether you like it or not. But this is where it's at.
I don't say that. I don't even say that. I say, God told me to tell you. And then I walk away. And if they don't want to hear it, it's like I can feel God, and God is telling me, I don't care if they want to hear it. You better say it. And if they get mad at you and throw a bunch of, soda pop on you, then, but it's the way.
That's the funny part about walking away, because you don't even give them a chance. They're just, and that's got to stick with you.
Well, right. I mean? And that's I'm not
like,
saying
who the was that.
Yeah, but I'm not speaking to the approach. I'm speaking more to the idea of if you're being honest with yourself, then you're going to listen to those intuitions. You're going to listen because you're going to realize that those little voices in your head aren't the ones that are driving your fear. Where they're like, oh, don't listen to that person. Oh no, they don't understand you. They don't get. It's like no, you're going to hear the voices and you're going to be like, yeah, no, that is right. This is true. This is what I'm supposed to. And that's, you want to call it your gut, your heart, your head. I don't care what you are hearing a voice in your head that may or may not be yours. And if it feels right, if it resonates good with you, you need to go do that.
Well, 9 times out of 10, if you're hearing a voice in your head and it's not yours, that's not good. It's going to be your voice every single time that's going to be telling you the right path, but it could be the wrong path too. So you got to know how to control your thoughts and your emotions to know right from wrong. And that's something we're taught at a young age, unless you're, again, you're delivered into negativity, dark matter. So you have to know the difference. And that's why it's important to, again, learn those lessons and fall on your face, bump your head, whatever you want to call it. But eventually you got to stop, because, I knew I had to stop drinking. I was getting sick all the time. All the time I was getting sick, until the point where it wasn't the drinking anymore. It was the awakening. It was the awakening. They didn't know what was going on with me. $100,000 in ICU and medical debt. And they had no idea what was wrong with me. All the labs would come out back clean and everything. And come to find out, it was because I was awakening the whole time. I had gifts that others knew about that I had no knowledge of. I thought I was street smart. I thought I was surviving.
Is this Kundalini sickness? Is that the term, the Kundalini sickness? I think I've heard that before.
Oh, I've never heard it.
That's the Kundalini awakening.
I will tell you, I documented it.
It clears your blockages, but when it's doing that, it lets out all of it. So
I was crying, I was sick, I was throwing up, I was using the bathroom. I felt dark matter leaving my body. I was literally speaking in tongues, speaking in other languages. To this day, I can control it all now, and the languages haven't disappeared. Nothing has disappeared. I can do anything on call now, and I can control my thoughts and my emotions and the power of God inside of me. I know right from wrong. I'm not going backwards. It is what it is.
So is that your inspiration behind the book that you keep bringing up? Like, is that your driving force? Is like your personal experiences, more or less, or?
Diary of Tiana Danae Jones is a book. Gastro Gourmet Every Day, which is the cookbook of how to deal with your spiritual gifts. Mental health, healing, and prevention, Fountain of Youth. They're all looking for that fountain of youth. What if it was down packed in a book of science, brain exercises, physical exercises, and also giving them the knowledge? Then you have Woke All Advanced Technology, which is showing, you know, the physical of how I felt Jesus's beatings, and I recorded it. And I felt certain things that, you know, are unlocked to know to be discovered, and how I speak. And every message is a message from God. I know when someone's going to do something to me before they even do it. I know their intention. And let's just say there's a protection over me, that this is how I explain it. God doesn't like it. So I give them a pre-warning. God doesn't like it. I've seen it happen over 200 times in the last 5 years. Bad things happen to these people. God doesn't like it, because my heart is pure when I'm saying that. My intentions are clean, and my thoughts with no ego and no selfishness is pre-warning people. And at this time, I don't do it anymore. I don't pre-warn them. I just say, God doesn't like it. Don't touch me. God doesn't like it.
Well, and I think that, so with the idea, like we were talking earlier, with what you say and what you mean, and so there's intention behind your words, and to me, regardless of, you know, what the tones are, because it could be, you know, a multitude of different languages, there's going to be that energy behind it. There's going to be something that is being expressed that is, you know, going back to Tesla. I mean, frequencies, energies, all that stuff. When you express yourself, you know, impeccably or succinctly, or you're honest in what you're putting out there, people, whether they like it or not, are going to feel it. They're going to hear it. They're going to see it, perceive it, you know, however you want to call it. But yeah, they're going to know that you mean business in that sense. I mean, I think that's what keeps going back to the whole idea of you have to know yourself. You have to love yourself, because when you do, then you're going to express yourself in that fashion where it doesn't matter what you're saying or how you're saying it. It's the combination thereof. You're going to be felt and heard.
Okay, well, imagine this. You have a lot of negativity and fallacy in the world, right? You have a lot of people that have their agendas. When they hear something like this, right, and they find out about something like this, they're going to use negative dark matter to use it for their own force of control. Because why? They're fearful. They should fear God. They should fear God inside of each one of us, because you got to choose the light. You got to change your ways. You got to go in another direction. So I get a lot of people that don't want to answer my calls anymore. They don't pick up my calls. They don't want to see me, because they're afraid. And it may not be necessarily they're afraid of me. They're afraid of the consequences for their actions if they try to harm me or do something negative toward my emotional, existence, or my physical, or even my mental. And as they should, you know, you should be aware and accountable for how you treat other people, because it's love thy neighbor. Even if it's not your family member, your blood relative, you should love everyone and treat them with respect, even if they're overweight, even if they're ugly, and what perception is for the world. You know, that's what they have come up with, these ideas of what they are approving us to be. But I come to realization that it is a fear tactic to try to manipulate the world, not to express the existence of God, because that's what every book I have out is proving, the existence of God. Whether you need science proof, I have it. Whether you need genetics that's in Woke All Advanced Technology, I have it. Whether you need spiritual awakening in my Woke All Advanced Technology book, I have it. Whatever you need has been transmitted as me to be a messenger. And they call me a bunch of different names all over the world. I am Tiana, a follower of God. My middle name is Danae, which means judged by others or judge with God. There's a reverse there. And Jones means Jehovah, which means God. And my birthday is 6390, which is 639, which is the gatekeeper of the universe. And that can enhance my spiritual gifts. That can develop the understanding of this existence of science. As a woman, I am still a woman. I am showing women's lives do exist. All lives do exist. That's what my global peace movements means. God exists in the living. Now, if they don't want to put God in it, because some schools, public schools, they don't mention faith, well, we do equality. You are all equal to each other. And that is the sum up of my mission, using technology and media. Because I go to the University of Phoenix online, getting my bachelor's of science applied in psychology, concentrated on technology and media. And I'm utilizing that to save the world and move the energy one person at a time.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
It is a beautiful thing.
Because there was multiple points within that you touched on where him and I are like looking at each other like, yes, yeah, keep going. No, keep going. Oh yeah, this is good. This is all the stuff that we talk about on our side chats, our main chats, in the show. These are things that we very much believe in. Because again, I don't care
what you ask God for. Be careful what you ask God for.
The running joke is I always asked for more patience in my life, and all of a sudden it's just like, here's a daughter. I was like, oh, I see what you did there. That's you got jokes. Huh?
So he knows very well about.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Be very, very careful what you ask for. And I think that, again, that goes back to loving yourself and accountability and all that kind of stuff. You know what? If I wasn't ready to handle it, I wouldn't have asked for it. And, I love Morgan Freeman. He's one of my favorites to kind of quote, but he's a big advocate for the idea of, if I ask for patience, is the universe or God, or are they just gonna be like, here's patience, here you go. You can just have that. No. I'm going to have situations. I'm going to have experiences. I'm going to have things that I have to deal with that's going to give me what I'm asking for. So whether it's patience or understanding, or you're going to get something very serious that you're going to have to deal with.
You ask that it be proven to you that you have patience. And it's like, well, let's find out.
Oh, I do. I still want more. I still would love to have more patience. I want to be one of those old, wise, freaking dude, just with the Fu Manchu, just like I am, just like super old and just chilling and eating stuff with chopsticks. I barely talk, but when I do, it's very wisdom filled because I'm just patient.
I just want to say, back to the God thing. It's like, I think people get really hung up on names, and I think that's really what it is. And it's a word. And what is a word? A word is
it's a signifier.
It's phonics. It's moving your.
Well, as you said earlier, it's something that we
shaping your mouth a certain way and moving your vocal cords.
Right, but as you said earlier, it's something we use to take the fear away. We've now labeled it. We know what it is.
Well, and I think that's a big issue with it too, because it's like you're now putting something that's ineffable in a box.
Well, correct.
Here's something I can say to reference that. In other countries, right? They're saying I'm a woman, right? That's putting me in a box. Other countries are categorizing me as this person that is a human being, spiritual being, et cetera, et cetera. And they're saying she's a woman, a woman, a woman, a woman, a woman. I hear it all the time when I'm on these calls, across seas with all these people in Asia, all these different countries, a woman, a woman, a woman. I had China call me twice last week. I've had different people approach me and I'll give you $6 million. I'll give you $500,000. Don't tell the United States people. Don't help the people. Don't help the people. I've never taken any money from anyone that has offered me money from organizations or companies to try to hush me up.
People have offered you money to hush you up.
God doesn't like it. God doesn't like it. So I'm not scared.
Wow. Go ahead, JD.
Going back to the praying thing, I was always taught, like this one sermon that I heard, you were taught to pray if you want a specific, like if you're in a situation and you want to know, like, okay, what should I do, this or this? Pray specific, or you're going to get, if you just say, let's example, hey, I have this really great job. I'm doing fine, but I was presented with this other job. I don't really need it. So, God, which job should I take? And then it turns out that you take like something out of left field because it was something you weren't expecting, but something he had already in your line to offer you. But
now that you weren't
expecting it, so you didn't know how to ask for it. But if you pray specifically, you're like, okay, between this job or this job, which one should I take? You'll get more of a direct answer. But if you don't go specific, you'll get an answer you never looked for.
Exactly. And I actually started being more specific in my prayers, but I pray throughout all day long. I could be talking to you and praying right now. I could be thinking, every thought is a prayer. Every emotion is a prayer.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. That's what I mean. I'm
with your intentions.
Well, that's why I'm huge in, speak your truth, know your truth. Say what you mean what you say. And that's in your, that's, going back to being impeccable. To be truly impeccable, you have to know yourself. You have to be beyond honest. You have to be succinct and
I'll be
exacting.
Honest. I don't believe in a church, but I believe in my temple.
Well, and again, it doesn't matter what your ism or your belief is. But it's, if what you're doing is very non-intentional of I'm swaying, if it's more of I'm just providing you with what things are, if I'm giving you this information, that to me is what true education is. It's not saying, hey, this is the right thing to do. No, it's saying, hey, this is what it is. You have to decide what's right for you. And it's not always going to be the same. But if you're truly listening to what it is, it might take you, 2 days, 2 years, 20 years, 2 lifetimes, 20 lifetimes, who knows? But you're going to make the right choice. And, the eventual is, especially when you, to me, coming from, the idea of what humanity is, if you put the right intentions of all of that in there, you're going to make good decisions. You're going to be a good person. You're going to be a good entity. And that's why, you were saying the idea of, I'm a woman. What I always put it to, we are all just love and light. We are beings or entities that are expressing in, whether you want to call them fractals or you want to call them, molecules resonating on a frequency that allows us to amass a body that has livers and kidneys. And, it's like, dude, none of that matters. What your actions are, what you're doing.
All of that matters, actually.
Well, all that is matter is what we... But
that was all created by spirit.
But that's what I'm saying, dude. So to me, it all really comes down to is your intentions. What is your actual love and light? Like, what is your energy? What is, what do you resonate on and with? And what do you put out there? That's what matters.
Just like this is a great thing that you're talking about, because right now they're trying to understand climate change is happening all over the world, right? And it has something to do with the prophecy of the energetic evolutionary time, universal time changes. But it also has something to do with the fact that we all have this energy inside of us that project atoms, and our thoughts are molecules going out into the earth and going out into the space and then going to the universe. The problem is it's coming back and it's hitting the earth. And that is why we have tornadoes, floods, fires, because the earth is getting a beat down every time our thoughts, it's not just pollution, our thoughts are going out and projecting back and it's being attacked. And this is what God told me. This is one of the discoveries. And it's so many people say this theory, that theory. No, there's a concept of theory and belief. When you stick them both together, it becomes facts. When you stick a belief and a theory together, it becomes a fact. And a fact is factual to show what exists in the world. I've seen it. I can feel it. Some days I wake up and I can see those microscopic particles of energy from the night before that have gone off of me into a wave And I've seen it. I've only seen it twice. Okay. I've only been able to see that twice. You can't even, you're not supposed to even be able to see. The human eye is not supposed to even see that. And I saw that 5 days ago. So if you can see that proof and show that that atomic energy exists to be reflected off of your energy, of your thoughts and your emotions, imagine what's going on into the world, what's hitting our earth and our oceans and our planet. It's not just pollution. It's the pollution of the thoughts and the pollution of the emotions and not being able to control it. Yes, we have free will. That's what God gave us. But you got to use better judgment. You got to use common sense, and you got to use the knowledge that everyone knows, and you got to put it all together to be real or fake. What's fake and what's real? I'm a realist. Either you're tangible, you're real, you're honest, your intentions, your integrity, or you're fake to me and you're not good for me. And that's what people have to learn. Be real.
Or my dad used your distractions, your strategies, your fear, your all that. Like that's
fear is gone. Fear is just a cover up of the selfishness of ego that cannot handle oneself in visual imagery, mirror imagery. Reflection, a reflection of who you really thought you were, but God had another plan for you. So you got to go and you got to get cleaned up like the fish, and you got to get gutted, and you got to go through that awakening to enhance your abilities to go to the light, because you are being called. You are chosen to be called to go home, which doesn't mean, I hear a lot of older people. Now, this is powerful. They say, oh, well, when God comes back and the rapture comes back, Jesus returns, the spirit, my jewelry will drop to the ground and my body will drop to the ground and my spirit will rise and I will go up with God. There's truth to that, as this is just materialistic, as the flesh is weak, which means the flesh makes miserable mistakes. And also it combines your elements of theory, right? Of the flesh, which is your skin, which is your heart, which is your mind. So you have a brain, you have a heart, and you have a human body of your flesh. Those are all connected. But what's inside of that heart is the light and is the emotions. And what's inside of that mind, that brain, is your thoughts and your compelled energy, which is frequency of energy waves from the neural path going all the way down from your brain, different spots of your brain, into your heart. And it flows all the way into the spirit of God that's existing right here in the middle. Right here in the middle of you, that's where the spirit of God is dormant. It's not your body down there. That's the flesh. That's weak. That's weak. When people say, I'm going to go, have sex or do this or do that, that's weak, because they're not able to control their flesh without knowing the spirit of God exists inside of them. That's the proof that say God exists inside the human body. It doesn't mean we are God. I mean, that's no. Although it says in the Bible, right? It's man-made too. You know what I mean? They put in there with their agenda and their fallacy in their own way. But are the Proverbs safe? Yes, if it's positive intention of light and the Proverbs in the Bible, yes, those are safe to listen to. But yes, you are made in man-like image. We speak about this in the interview with Through the Eyes of God and Humanity with King Crooked, which is one of the biggest rappers in Long Beach, with Dr. Dre and Eminem. He's signed by Slaughterhouse by Eminem. He founded him. But here's what I'm saying to you. You have to know that God exists in you and comes from a special source of light power that connects all the way scientifically into the brain and into the heart. And all the fear aside is just going to hold you back from enhancing your gifts, because we need to encourage people to use these gifts, because we are all connected. If you visualize the United States map, 300,000 people woke up with spiritual awakening over a time period of the pandemic. The earth still was spinning while everything was stopping. So visualize that while the earth was spinning, okay, because it's never going to stop, we all stopped in fear and we had to face ourselves and what was going on in our environments. So what did that do? Visualize that scientifically. What did that do? That projected the example of how we know our purpose, and that aligned us back into the realms. The realms were aligning back. Okay, so they aligned back, and when they go like this, that's when the light produces out of them, and that's when they're all connected, the dimensions. Does that make sense?
Well, see, and that's like, all right. So one of my big things when, we talk about like prayer, meditation, all that kind of stuff. One of my bigger things when I'm doing my daily meditation, I'm visualizing all things literally being connected. That's forwards, backwards, up, down, left, right, multiple dimensions, parallel times, like anything and everything. They are all one thing. I mean, while you can sit there and like spider web it out and see each little individual component, it's still all one thing. Like that's I've literally been changing my word to connected, because that's the thing is like we are all connected. The blades of grass, the air we breathe, the atoms, the molecules, anything and all things.
We're a single organism.
Dude, it is. We are all one.
The entire. Well, I mean, you could. Well, I mean,
this planet, this the universe. Yeah, but that's so. While you can separate it and show all these different things, you can label it. You can call it whatever you want, dude. No matter what, at the end of the day, we're all still connected. We're all still a thing, like one. We are all one.
Unified, part of a plan that is unimaginable. The human brain is supposed to not even be able to imagine what hundreds and hundreds of thousand years advanced technology of higher creation of an existence, which some call ETs or some call, this advanced technology that exists. Because as he was speaking about the pyramids, that was one of his ways of speaking about in our first interview about civilization being created before and being adapted with what was going on at that present moment. And that's what you're speaking about times collapsing and times integrating with each other. And that's why I'm saying this, and then the light comes out. It doesn't mean pow, boom, we're done. It just means you're healing. You're able to go through that awakening. It's something that's happening inside everybody. Everybody's, exempling what they're about to be. They're getting that opportunity is what his words were.
Yeah, I love it. She did the air quotes.
We're going to totally have to do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're pretty much it's at that place where we have to wrap it up, which is very typical of us as we really get into it. Where it's just like, oh my gosh, it's like
we can still hang out for a minute, but
we gotta go.
Dun dun dun. Stay tuned for the next one.
Which we're actually putting some stuff in the works. We're trying to find us traveling to the Midwest area, like get out towards up in Michigan, Nebraska, all that kind of good stuff. So whether you come to us or we're coming towards you or something, we can. We're gonna try to make this actually happen in person. And
speaking of connected.
Yeah, dude, connect, but dude, you know what? In connection, like being connected, I've had nudged towards me a few times in the past couple of weeks where connected is more than just, doing this on your phone and, oh, hey, what's up? How are you? Like, it's more than me just sending you a text saying, hey, what's up? Yeah. Connected is like me just showing up at your house and it's just
connected
like,
connected is why we do this.
Yeah, man. it's literally, like last night I was just like, bro, let me swing by. And
so many people were feeling that shift, that change when lockdown started, when COVID happened, and you didn't know lie from truth. You didn't know who to trust. You didn't know. I mean, honestly, I felt like people in my own family were against me at some point, and it's crazy, but it was that one thing that kind of held me together was having this relationship. So it was like, we joke around since we started actually broadcasting all this is that we didn't, like, a lot of people try to, design a theme to do a podcast, but we already had something going on, and we just made that a podcast. Like we try not to change anything.
We didn't shape a podcast around a conversation. We shaped a conversation into a pod. We're just like, oh, you know what? We're just going to record this. Here we go. Yeah, we didn't set out to do this as like, oh, we're going to be interesting and unique. Where it's like, no, this is what we're supposed to do.
If I am. I mean, I don't like it. I don't care about what people think about me. I mean, I really don't. I mean, the honest truth is it doesn't affect me.
Yeah. While we don't care, we absolutely care, because we could care less what you think about us, but we still care about you and all things, because
we still care about you.
Yeah. We care. We just,
I don't necessarily care about your judgment of me.
Because you shouldn't. My judgment is horrible. I'm the worst at judging. Judge myself for judging, and I'm horrible at that too.
Big judgerson.
Yeah, but yeah, no, this has been phenomenal. Please, if you could, by all means, shameless plug. Tell everybody where to find you, all that good stuff. We're gonna insert some extra stuff for you as well, but yeah, please, shameless plug. Go ahead for it. Do it.
www.caligirlbooksllc.com. That's the publishing company. Publish all arts, music, media, film, science, technology, basically anything that is going to be an inspiration to set people free into their own truth. And stay aware, stay woke, stay ready, because God is here and God is here now. Thank you so much.
I love that. That was great. Yeah. That was really good. Yeah. As well as, I mean, if people wanted to reach out to you, is there a way to do that? Is there like a preferred method? Because I mean, I know you said you're on like Instagram and all that. Is there, what's your best?
Well, when you go to the website, if you want to directly get to me, it's www.caligirlbooksllc.com, and you can go to the contact form and send me a message, and it goes straight to my phone as a text message.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we do the same thing. We have all of our communications basically set that not only do we get them, but then we also get if someone else didn't, and it's like, so we get like extra. So it's like, somebody's going to hear this, we will get back to you, we promise. Because I mean, that's what you will. But if you're going to be about supporting your community, you have to be available. And I mean, we do redundancy so that one of us is always going to catch it. So, shout out to Miss JD for hooking us up with that kind of action. Ooh. She's more than just a clickety clack of fact checker. She keeps us corralled. She hooks us up on the backsides as well. She's an amazing person, so we're glad to have her. And she works for High Fives. God bless her. She's an amazing woman for that. Yeah, but speaking of getting a hold of us, you can also hit us up. All three of us. We got the humans, THEHUMANS at itystudios.com, or individually GEMINI
at itystudios.com.
Yeah, and Philly D PHILLY at itystudios.com, and
MISSJD at itystudios.com.
I love she gets the double S. She deserves the double S.
Double S.
Yeah, but fam, we appreciate you so much. This has been, I'm telling you, Miss Cali, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Yeah, we're definitely going to have you back. It'll be a great time. Even better than we did tonight, which was pretty dope. So.
Yeah, I feel like we just got the tip of the iceberg tonight.
Pretty much. I mean, we started, we got into it a little bit in the green room, and it's just like, we're going to get into some more, and it's still going, which, I'm going to hit you up on the side, because I'm actually, some of your books sound very interesting. I'm not a huge reader when it comes to fanciful stuff, but I love like dry, logical, give me the data I want to, and this is what it sounds like. So, but with a little bit of that fanciful to it. So I'm like, this is my style. we're going to do that.
I don't really do data so much.
Yeah, I know.
Celestine Prophecy, I'll rock that shit any day.
It's right back there, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But family. Fam, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. And as always, be good to yourself. Be good to everything else.
Much love.
Peace.
Peace.